Well, it's the next day, actually about 2 days later. Today's Tuesday. Baled the hay on Sunday, and it took me an extra day to bale the hay than I wanted. I wanted to do it on the Saturday, but I had that flat tire Friday night. I was trying to move some hay around at a different location so that I could get it out of the way, and I cut the tire on something. I don't know what it was, but it ended up making it flat. I had to travel somewhere to find another good used tire. Tires aren't cheap, even though that's a small tractor. I think it's the front tractor tire on like a 200 horsepower tractor, but it worked out. So anyways, got the hay put up. Second cutting of the fescue, only got about 125 bales. Really good hay though. That extra day, it still did bother it. We had good cloud cover. It was really nice. But as you can see, the sunlight comes in here on this building, and that's straw over there. Baled out last year, and I use it. Actually, some of it is the brome. It's good enough to use for straw. They'll eat a little bit of it, but it works out. But over here, I got some of the alfalfa orchard. And the sunlight comes in, and the fescue's here, and it just bleaches it right here. Years ago, everybody put hay in the hay loft. Still do. I'm sure there's still some that do. But when I lived in California, I seen a lot of buildings that were just a roof, and they stored hay in there. And where I was at in California, it never froze. There was some rain in the winter, but it didn't affect the hay as long as it was covered. So the three-sided building works out great still. This is not the new hay barn. This is an older barn that was built. We built it. Dad and I built this one so that we could put hay in it. But I can't use the grapple hook in here more than like 5 high or so. So I had to do a lot of it by hand. But at the time when we built it, that's what we were doing. We were stacking it in here by hand. But this building here is still being used. I'm still planning on using it for some other use. But for now, I want to build a curtain that goes across each post with a hook or a hanger, and keep that sunlight from going in, and during the wintertime keeps the rain and the snow from going in there. So right now, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to start building some parts and getting a curtain put up there. I think I'm going to use silver tarp. That, or find some other place that has some heavy duty tarp that'll last. And it could be like a shower curtain or something. Just something to hold it up to each post, and they'll keep that sunlight and weather out. Okay, after carefully picking out what material I want to use, this piece here was just a piece of like 1/8 inch wall, 1.5 inch tubing. I made gates out of this stuff. And then I put a piece of plate over the top of it up here to hang on to it, and then tack welded it, and then put lag bolts into it. And what I'm going to do is get a piece of galvanized 3/4 inch water pipe and make a rail across here so I can put a curtain. There's one over here also. Keep that sunlight from coming in. So I'm just drill a couple more holes for the last bracket here, and then I got to measure it, and then cut the stick of pipe, put a coupling in it, and then get ready to put the tarp up. The lag bolts that I'm using are galvanized. I believe they are 3 inches long by about 3/8 of an inch in diameter. And I probably used a 1/4 inch drill bit or such. And then I used a little bit of wax, put it on the threads, help it draw in there nice and easily. All right, measurement to the outside of that 223, but I want to leave an inch overhang on both bracket. That way I can thread a cap on the end so it don't slide out. I'm cutting threads on this 3/4 inch pipe to put one of these end caps on, and it's with National Pipe Thread rigid pipe threader. I've had this thing for 20 years. After getting the threads cut, and turn that around so the gear set goes the other way. Got to be careful that you got to keep them threads clean. Sometimes it takes once or twice to back it away. It's like tapping something. You don't want to get them threads, or you don't want to get the cutters jammed up. So you got to keep them clean in there so that it makes good threads and it doesn't skip and pull a thread out. You can actually rip a thread out if it's not cleaned properly. Okay, after taking this off, I do have a bad spot in this pipe. If I was to use this on water line or gas pipe, right here's the bad spot. It ripped that thread out, this cut, and there's a reason why. In that cutter right there, these can be taken out. You got to take this plate off, but right there, if you can see where I'm pointing, that thread is damaged. Something hit it, it got dropped, or somehow it got damaged. And actually, it's bad over here too, on this side, right in there. See that little missing right there? That's what makes a bad thread. So I'm not worried about it this time because I'm just using it as a railing to hang. But at some point I need to go and buy some new threads. They come in a set of 4, just change them all at once. All right, as you can see, I got the cap on the end of that, and it won't slide out of that hole that I made for the rail. It's not gonna come out. So the rest of it's put in. Now I know I got a 90-degree elbow on there. That's all I had for now, but it is best on there because it won't slip through that eyelet. So it doesn't matter. I might put a water plug in it so that water doesn't get in there and possibly freeze up inside that. That would be best. I'd put a little water plug on it. Now I'm ready to hang a curtain. What I'm making here is the curtain rod hanger. I could have made this out of like stainless steel, which I should probably, but I'm not. Right now I'm just seeing how this works out. So far I got 2 of them made and it looks good. This is 3/16 welding rod. They got wet. I've had them for years. I bought some when I first bought the welding machine to practice with, and they've been around. So what happens is I want to hook this into the eyelet of the tarp and then slide the eyelet up higher and then hook down here and then press these back together, and it hangs from right here and then it rolls on the pole on top. Just spread it just a little bit so I can get it over that pole. I said I'll hook one of them on there. I'm gonna do this so you can see it. If you can see it. So it's on there. I want to slide it up. Hopefully you can see this because my hands got to pull it together. So right there, I'm pulling it together and it hooks right there. Slide that down. Kind of press that in place so it relaxes. It's in there. I'll do another one like that. This one over here. Well, I know it's not perfectly covering right here. The hay needs to breathe. You know, the old-fashioned barns, they had a breather at the top. That's kind of what's going on here. This is not the new hay barn, but when I start the new hay barn, I guess you could call it a dryer hay barn. I'm not sure. But it's going to have this in case I do use the crop saver on any hay. I'm not saying I'm doing it to all of it, but if it did get anything and it's stored in a location that's separate from everything else, the hay-wise, it'll be able to breathe. It would be nice that the new barn that I have some control though, like in the winter time, that I could put another flap on the back side or something, snaps, I don't know, to close it up when the snow starts blowing really hard. But this is really all it needs. It keeps the sunlight out, keeps the rain pretty much out. I wish I had an eavesdrop though. That would be next. Because this gets to bellowing out like this and that rain's just going to fall right back down inside. But it ain't going to blow on the hay going in at an angle.